Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy and Burk, talking about trailers. And this is a trailer for a film called Last Film Show, which sounds a bit like the Last Picture Show, but
it does.
It's the Last Film Show. I get the impression from what I've heard about this that it is a film about love of movies in some way or other,
which we know a lot about because we too love movies. The thing that also sets us apart is that it is being nominated for an Oscar. It's India's official entry into the international feature race. So that's sort of a big deal because that means they're really putting a lot of clout behind it. So we'll have to check on that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that it's not like one of the gigantic blockbusters that we heard a lot more about. You know, this one is like something I haven't heard about, so maybe it's super extra special good.
It's interesting, too, because they chose this film over a film like RRR, which is getting all the buzz and actually getting a lot of attention for Oscar as sort of an independent entry. Like, if enough people vote for it, it can just be nominated into the Oscar race unofficially, not as the foreign film nomination, but just as a best film. Yeah. And the director, SS Rajamouli, just won the best director from the New York Film Critics Circle. So that's a big portent toward what could happen, because I think a lot of people have been discovering this film and they're jumping on board because they're like, this is special. Didn't expect it. You know, everyone sees RRR and thinks it's a big discovery. So I think that's really cool. And it also keeps RRR in a more flexible position to being possibly nominated for other awards. Whereas when you're nominated for just foreign film awards, sometimes it can box you in. Right. So we'll have to see. So this film is the official India entry. So if they get nominated, it'll be this one.
Well, let's look at the trailer and see if we agree. We ready?
All right. Yeah, we're ready.
And
આપણે અંદાજ છે ને શહેરમાં જઈએ છીએ સરસ મજાની ફિલ્મ જોવા
તમને ફિલ્મ પસંદ પણ નથી
આ વખતે જરા નોખું છે
બાપુજી એક વાત પૂછું
ના
તમે લોકો રોજ આવું હારું હારું ખાવાનું ખાવ ઘરે રોજ રોજ
મને ફિલ્મ જોવા તો દેશો ને
वो देखेंगे हाय
આજે સમયનો તો पिछवाड़ो लाल થવાનો મને મારા બાપાએ ફટકાર્યો ફિલ્મ જોવા ગયો તો ને ફોટાડો
તમે લોકો ચોર છો ને તમે બધું જ ખતમ થઈ ગયું છેલ્લો શો હતો છેલ્લો શો
મારે પ્રકાશ બનવું છે પ્રકાશમાં જ વાર્તા બને અને વાર્તામાં જ ફિલ્મ सुपरस्टार रजनीकांत ये कौन सी सिली शाहरुख खान सलमान खान अमिताभ बच्चन जैसे
આ બધો ખેલ વાર્તાનો છે
build a projector.
ભવિષ્યના બધા માલિકો વાર્તાકારો છે
Oh God! I love how they related that to the idea of light through the film, creating the stories that they're equating it with light and color, making stories. I thought that was really touching and sweet.
Yeah, because it's all it is that comes into our eyes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the light coming through the film, and the idea of film being sort of a subversive thing that you get not supposed to go see it, and I don't
guess
know.
in
I
this
get the
village,
impression
maybe.
that the kid wasn't. Yeah, it was like maybe not considered to be a good thing to do for kids to go see movies or something, or
Well, it kind of
was
looked
that
like they
just the
had.
punishment? He did something wrong and
I think he stole the film.
stole the
That was.
film.
It looks like they maybe. And this is all us guessing, trying
I
to.
know.
But it looks like they might have closed down the official theater, so they
Oh,
kind of put up a little fake pirate theater, and then maybe when they did that, the kid stole the film so that he could still watch it, and he got caught.
right. But
I'm
they're just
guessing.
looking at the.
I love that where they're like passing it through watching the
Yeah,
movie,
like
and
watching the movie.
that great scene where he's leaning on the projector and kissing the thing. I have
Right.
that feeling. I would love to do that. I want to be in a projection room and just hug the projection thing.
Aw.
So cool. I just want to. That film felt to me like everything about that. It felt like a big hug, except for the beating part. But like, I
Yeah.
love the idea of like the theater being so profound and influence and so important and such a big deal in someone's life, that it has that kind of impact. Like that's how I feel about it. Like to me, the theaters were just as important. Like it is just the life, it's like I carried it with me. I still do it. I still love it. And that's all I really care about. So I'm totally on board with this kid.
Yeah, and we've been deprived of the movie theater feel for so
It's
long, so many
killing me.
years because of the pandemic. That it's like now such a nostalgic thing almost.
Yeah.
The idea of going to a theater, and also there's a hint of the idea of film. There's a lot
Yes,
of
I was gonna say
filmmakers
that.
like Christopher Nolan and others who are advocates for the old-fashioned
Mhm.
processes of film, actual
Yeah.
physical film, as opposed to like digital projections. Because a lot of theaters you go to now are projecting digital
Mhm.
files, basically like streaming videos onto a giant screen.
Yep.
And there's filmmakers like Christopher Nolan who really want to stay pure with it, as light going
Mhm.
through the actual
Right.
emulsion and the colors that are printed onto the acetate, the film.
Yeah.
And there is a quality to it. People talk about it, analog versus digital. Some people,
Mhm.
you talk about your MP3s don't sound as good as your LPs, your vinyl records played on a solid turntable. I totally agree. I
Totally agree.
love listening to actual LPs on my turntable still, just like I always did.
There's something
And
about the analog physicality of it, like it's a real tangible thing. And Once Upon
yeah,
a
like
Time
the
in
kids
Hollywood was
looking
actually
through the
shot on film. So you could
yeah,
tell. Like it has a
yeah,
warmth about it, like a texture. Yeah. So I love that
yeah,
too. I love that when he was like with the actual film and seeing that huge pile of film was just, oh my God, I feel like it's just a stake in my heart. Like they're
yeah,
just throwing away all the films, like they've been banished or something. It's really sad.
right.
Really, really
Yeah, I
hardcore.
mean, people. I mean, there was a time people worry about things a bit much. I think there's a lot of times there's
Mhm.
a panic when new technologies come along. I'm old enough to where I can kind of remember those various
Yeah.
panics. Um, I mean, before my time, when television was invented, that was before my time. People panicked because they thought the movie theaters were going to go out of business because people wouldn't want to leave home because they got their television. But in fact, no. Some of the biggest eras of theater came after television. People
That's
still
true.
wanted to go sit with a bunch of other people in a big room and watch a movie on a
Yeah.
giant screen projected through the film. And I think there's something about people that people will always want to do that. And
You
further
wanna
back than
share it.
that, people thought when films came along that
Yeah.
stage actors and performance would disappear.
Yeah.
And when people had radios at home, they would never go to another concert because you can sit at home and listen to a concert.
Right.
But concerts still exist, and
Yeah.
plays still exist. My wife and I just
Yeah.
went and saw a play not too long ago.
Hmm. I haven't seen a play in ages, but
It's
I would
fun.
like to.
There's something about
I
it,
would like to.
especially with real
Again,
people.
it's
It's
tangibility of it. It's
yeah,
like, and actually, as I was looking at trying to find some more information about this movie, and this all makes sense now too, especially because what we were just talking about. It says this is set against the backdrop of cinemas in India witnessing a massive transition from celluloid to digital.
right.
So May and his pals hitch a ride on the train that passes through a remote village to find their way to a rundown movie theater that offers all the entertainment that their hearts desire. So he gets in and pays the projectionist to let them watch the movies for free. So it becomes like a daily ritual. So he becomes obsessed
pays
with
them to let them watch them for free?
He gives them his lunch.
Oh.
Gives the projectionist his lunch. So he gives him his home cooked meal from his mom that he's supposed to be eating. So he's losing
another
weight.
Thing this movie had was some good looking food stuff, which is always important.
Scenes. I love the cooking scenes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the when their little theater then turns into digital, it disrupts the whole little routine because they no longer need a projectionist. So that's all very sad.
So that's why the emphasis on light and
yes, exactly. It actually looks really touching, and I just love the whole aspect of everything about that. And so we have a poster. I love this too because it is playing. I love the idea of light. Like there's all the colors of light in this poster, and it makes sense to me to see that in that. And I love that little strip of film, and it ends, and then you're going down to the rest of the film.
And the train itself looks like a strip of film. Those windows
in
the train.
You're right.
So it looks like he's in a frame in the film, and
it's a great shot of the kid too. It's great.
Yeah, really and the nice colors, his yellow shirt matches the train, and great expression,
and the copy line is "The future belongs to the storyteller," which is a really nice. It just looks very heartwarming and very sweet, and except for the beating again.
I know, that's
beating kids with sticks. I don't think there's something wrong with that.
But
I'm very interested in seeing this film. It looks like one of those small little, underdog films that could easily, appeal to Oscar because, as we know, Oscar is very sentimental. They love movies about other movies. I mean, technically, it's not like it's a panel of judges who decides on these films. It's a huge group of people who've all been involved in Oscar, or they've been nominated or done the nominating, and even if you haven't won, you are part of the Academy now. So it's a bunch of film people in the industry who are at the top tier. They've all been nominated and part of this group, and they nominate other films. And, this isn't, this is more of a democracy kind of way of doing it, of all the top people in the business. So it's very likely if you have the right people watching this and the word of mouth gets around, that little films like this, or even a wild card like RRR, can actually get nominated because of, journalists and Academy members getting behind them. So you never know.
Yeah.
Could work.
I'm not an awards guy. I don't like ranking. So I'm always like, whatever. If it's
the only
a good
thing
movie,
I like about it, the only thing I like about it is that sometimes these awards can bring attention to films that didn't get it the first time around that deserve it. So it's a way of giving a stamp of approval that a lot of people sometimes need to maybe take a chance on a film they didn't know was good, and they'll hear a lot about it, and they'll see the clips in the film, and they'll see people getting awards. They're like, oh, I'll have to watch this. It looks like it's really good. So I don't really like when huge money makers win the awards because they don't need the attention. But I do like it when it brings attention to smaller films and performances that a lot of times people might miss. So
yeah, the huge wealthy winners thing is so much like the Grammys to me. It's like, who made the most $1 million this year?
Yeah, like Billboard Music Awards. It's like, we're going to have awards to the top money makers. Like, do they need awards after making all the money? I don't think so.
It's not even really about the music. It's about the spectacle of the celebrity and all that kind of garbage.
Yeah. And especially for foreign films. This is a great way for foreign films to break through. So I'm very interested in seeing what happens if India can get a film nominated. It would be awesome. So
this just looks like a sweet little film that has its heart in the right place. It's about something that we all care about here. And looks like that
I don't
kid
think we
in
gave
it
the
is
credits.
really good.
Yeah, the kid looks great. So it's directed by Pan Nalin. It stars Bhavin Rabari, Bhavish Shamarali, Rika Meena, and Dipan Raval Paresh. I might get those wrong. Meena. But it's a Gujarati language film. I might have said that wrong, which is a new one for us. I don't think we've actually seen one of those films before. So that's brand new. So that's another thing. It got nominated for an Oscar, and now we're looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Or not even nominated, given as their entry. So let's see what happens. Let us know if you guys seen this movie. I'm anxious to see it, and we'll be interested to know what you think of it.
Yeah, and let us know also about the feeling of the film, because India obviously has a huge film industry. It's people talk about Hollywood, but India has a film industry that is pretty astounding, and Indian people love their films, and there is a love of filmmaking and film. in India that I think maybe this film portrays, that escapism. What is it about Indian films that the people love so much? Is it the escapism? Is it the spectacle of it? I love how culture impacts the media that people communicate with, and how the mediums like film or art or dance or music or whatever, they sort of reflect the state of society, the state of culture, and the state of things. Like, during troubled times, you get punk rock, right?
Yeah.
So is this a time in India where people are really, really, really heavily into films? And what does that mean concerning the culture? It's interesting to me. I wonder if anybody has an answer to that, or if that even makes sense.
No, I think that's a very good question. Yeah, pontificate for us in the comments. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, because clearly film is an important thing, and as it is here in America, as it is to us, we totally understand it and get it.
Yes, we have the same passion. All right, so we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Where's my button here? There it is. Okay.
Frozen.
Here we go.
Bye.